thing. Started as a space dad, ended up a PvPer.
Yep.
And he was just in the Atmo esports. With Seven him and Seven hang out here too. But we're kind of trying to set this place up in that regard. It's a great place to interact, different teams to come and interact. Manfred's this Saturday has a 3v3 training. You guys are welcome to sign up for it and come. We just do wing fights. It's tournament style. And then Sunday is Thunderdome, which is the actual tournament. It's just a house league one, so we just do light fighters. This one's to bring your buddies, so you guys can make your own teams, but generally I do a randomized draft. And hello.
Cool. Hello.
Yeah, I gotta get dressed.
Yeah, what's dress code?
Well, clothes.
Well, I got that part, but are we going like black tie streetwear, or can I keep my armor on?
Well, we're in Grimhack, so you look piratey if you want. Whatever personal style you want. You'll see mine. I'm in nice slacks and a shirt, and I have great hair, right? But that's just Johnny Morgan, right? I can't look anything but great.
You know I fly in PJs, and I left my top hat at Orson. I am not going back there.
So no, there's a reason I don't turn my camera on. Yeah, it's above the bar. Yeah, scrubs are good. No, put something nice around, please. There is a lovely clothes shop here.
Don't worry.
Where is this place? Is it on the...
So if you go into the racetrack area, right, where you buy the armor and stuff like that, it's above the bar and the hot dogs.
Yeah.
Get yourself hot dogs and Grimhex.
I'm just going to stand in the back, mute myself, and just watch.
Hey, Waffle.
Hello.
Oh, come stand in the scene.
You snuck in here, buddy.
That's what I do. I'm a sneaky sneak.
Uh-huh.
I'm a sneaky snake.
I'm here. I thought pancakes were quieter.
You can go right to hell.
I'll be glad to let you send me.
I might be able to do that more often now.
Oh, yeah?
Finally got Echo.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean got Echo?
I beat him in a 1v1. It was great.
Oh, just one? Oh, come on now.
I'm getting better.
Yeah, man, that's a far dream for me. 6v6 and I can beat Echo. If we get lucky.
Jesus, I sweat so hard going against the Echo. And right now it's still been about 50-50.
It's a good fight. I gotta put more time into. I've just been waiting for 317. I hate playing the game when there's a PU patch out. It's been 30k shit in the PU.
Oh, would you look at that? I have no in-game audio.
My thing is turned out in-game audio. Some of it in the back.
There's a lot of idle NPCs up here.
Look, this will be a full crowd then.
Alright, I should stream this too so you guys can see. But I'm not recording. Yeah, I'll just direct see. Alright, scene one set up. I have to figure out who people are.
So we're just chilling inside Grimhex, right?
Yeah, we're at the bar, like the racetrack bar. So the couches up top. So we get some people, everyone's sitting on the couches. I have a wide angle shot of that. It's a nice shot, and I'm going to do a top-down shot of it. So at one point when I'll turn off audio capture of Discord, and we'll just sit there and chat about shit. I'll just record some film at the end of it at different angles. I don't need a lot of it because I can just put it on a loop.
Word. Violet and I will be heading over there from Everest Harbor here, so we'll be a few minutes.
I want to smoke a dart right now and have another, maybe not coffee. I think I'll go for whiskey now. Yeah. It's a whiskey discussion.
Dude, I've been drinking whiskey sours for the past hour.
Oh, that's one of my favorite drinks. You use proper bitters for it?
I don't, man. I use the pre-mix. I'm sorry.
Still not bad, but yeah, proper whiskey sour. I fell in love with that drink. That was what made me like bitters. Was when I was 19, did a bartending course, and the guy did drinks proper. Same with Alabama Slammer. That's a great shot or drink. Like, it's only if it's made with slow gin, though. It's the only thing I've ever had that I'm like, ooh, slow gin's delicious.
Dude,
Was I
haven't had
supposed
a
to come to
slow
this thing smashed? Because no one told me.
Don't worry,
It's a
man.
pirate discussion. The Buccaneers, where's your grog, lad?
I'm
I'm
sorry. I'll be right
drinking
back. Let me go
milk.
buy some rum.
I mean,
Just
this
yours for
is
me.
Grimhex.
Yeah.
Rum hex.
Also, I just enabled push to talk, so if someone asks me something and I say nothing, I hear you. I'm just probably talking to myself like an idiot.
Well,
You do
the
that
idiot
already?
part is redundant. You don't need to say that. It's
Waffle.
implied.
Yeah, I was
Well,
inches
talking
from...
about whiskey is going to make me drink some scotch now.
Guys, Waffle left. It's the craziest thing.
Stand-
Oh my god, he's back.
What did you do?
He definitely didn't move
Moved him down one channel.
abusing a min perms? Ooh.
Yeah, how dare you? I would never do
Stanford
that.
prison experiment right there, lads.
Y'all are the
Look at that
worst.
abuse of power.
I mean, you're assuming he can get into Stanford. It's more like, a community college experiment for him.
Yeah,
Damn.
that was harsh. Harsh.
Nah.
I was walking to my kitchen to get a drink, and I came back just to tell you to go fuck yourself after that.
We all know your parrot runs the show there, killer.
Damn. Yeah, that's fair. He's being mean to
I'm
me
gonna
right now.
go. I'm listening, but I'm gonna go smoke a dirt.
Awful
All
woke
right,
up and chose violence.
Who's in
No,
the Artemex gear with a backpack and a grenade launcher?
that would be me.
Hi, Waffle.
These guys are up right above me. Yoink.
Okay.
That's just an NPC, I guess.
I guess so.
But these are all people.
Well, that's a hello, Optimus. What the fuck? Dude, I have never seen that helmet.
What? My white armor?
No, the helmet.
Yeah, it just showed up in my inventory. I'm assuming it's something I get for being a subscriber.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. You look like the white version of Bumblebee. It's really weird.
I'll just start playing random radio clips anytime someone asks me a question. So what do you think about the
Is that
state
racist?
of the
feel like that was
the
racist.
PPU? Welcome to KSPJ.
Yeah, I was checking out this location for shots earlier. It looks fucking great for the discussion. So I have a good top down, have good, full scene, and now I gotta get a range. If anyone else can record too, what I would love you to do is a self record of just you shot, so camera facing your face. So anyone who's speaking dirty and stuff like that, if you guys want to local, well, you're streaming, so I'll pull stuff from your stream. I'll just steal from that later. If I need angles and shots, because that would be great actually. But anyway, who local record any angles really, because they help me splice in more stuff into the video.
I can, but I think a face shot of my helmet looks real creepy.
Or side angles or whatever. Additional angles, right? It's just for the split screen, so it adds to it. I have my VoIP on, so you should actually see my. Yeah, it's working pretty well. Other than hating the fact that I wear glasses, I have to take my glasses off.
I'll give you
Otherwise
20 or
I'll-
30 seconds of me sitting there just with his head rotating back and forth.
Yeah, I'm capping right now. That's what I'm doing, taking extra footage.
You have a Dropbox or something, or should I just give it to Dirty?
I do have a Google Drive that I can share with you guys. I'll do that in a sec. All right, I'm gonna go smoke. I'll be right back, and I'll get the link posted.
Yeah, no rush.
Right. Well, it's taking my inventory a long time to load, so we'll be getting on our way once I can put some armor on here.
I had 2 infinite loading screens, a black void, and an NPC throwing me into rocks and killing me to get here, so I don't blame you, man. You're fine.
Yep. Just
Wait,
normal
Lucky, I only had
experience.
one false load.
That's
I loaded
pretty
right
good.
in, went and sat down, and I'm tempted to go get a bunch of beers now.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a quick smoke and come back and say, oh, wait, something happens. It's getting there.
So I have to plug this question in. Manfred's about to laugh his ass off at me. And Waffle. You guys ever use the Raven?
Some of our people have some ravens, and have used them, yeah. I don't, personally.
Okay.
That's that little EMP ship, right?
How dare you call it little?
It's the, the
Little is
what's
a
it,
good thing.
saber with the
It's
EMP.
the ship you
behind
use
it.
to get yourself.
Chassis.
What, Waffle?
If I can
Don't worry about it.
I can use it.
It flies like a fucking dream.
If I could get it, I'd use it.
I fucking love that ship.
I mean, stealth DMP. That's like the
I know,
pirate
right?
ship.
I just wish you would pull it like
Fucking
dual
perfect.
size ones up by the cockpit. That's all I asked for. Just dual size ones. Give us some variety in weapon choices here.
You
We'll be
want
right
that
back.
before it actually gives you atmospheric controls and oxygen?
Yes, because I can always wear a spacesuit.
You forget a lot of the time.
No, that is Goose that forgets a lot of the time. I tested it one time and you were there.
I don't know, man. That's how you die.
One time.
All it takes is one.
Don't be salty.
There's
Manfred.
no O2 in the cockpit, or is this just back when there was no O2 in any cockpit?
It's no atmosphere inside the cockpit right now. It's a bug.
No fun.
So if you get out in your birthday suit and you take off, you die in about 10 seconds.
Special.
It's a feature.
And they bitch about Drake's being drafty.
I know, right? Nothing more drafty than smelling space.
What does space smell like?
Yeah, I'm googling. Can you smell space?
Like, I guess there are some particles out there, just very, very few.
So question, this will break your brain. If there's no air in space, no oxygen, can you inhale a space particle?
If you're
For
really
that
lucky.
one brief second. Can you
Okay,
go?
we cannot smell space directly because our noses don't work in a vacuum, but astronauts aboard the ISS have reported they notice a metallic aroma. Yeah, they're in a tube. Like the smell of welding fumes on the surface of their spacesuits once the airlock has been repressurized. You heard it here first. Space smells like metal.
Yeah, but that's coming from the
That's
people
pretty
that are
nuts.
inside metal.
Well, no, once the airlock has been repressurized after a spacewalk. Their spacesuits
What's in the
have like the
surface of their
smell.
spacesuits.
Yeah, like that came from outside.
It's all a conspiracy.
Yeah, the Earth is flat, obviously.
I was waiting for someone to make the joke.
Never mind this
Affirmative.
globe of
Affirmative.
yellow sitting in front of us.
Earth is flat
This-
and hollow.
I'm gonna
Actually,
go
can't see
finish
yellow
my
right
whiskey
now,
sour. I'll
so-
be right back.
The hollow Earth is my favorite one.
Johnny, you a big fan of the one where we're on the back of a space tortoise?
Well, of course, the space
Yeah.
tortoise is probably the most accurate of them all. But come on, like it's more fun to think of it as a hollow Earth, and Shangri-La and all that stuff is actually inside. Journey to the center of the Earth, Jules Verne, all that stuff, very fun.
Nick Cage was actually a prophet. Confirmed.
Confirmed. National treasures are national treasures. I love those movies. All right. Got a bunch of fancy camera angles. Do a few more.
Yeah, I got some
Good.
while you were away, so I'll drop them in the box once you post a link.
I can
Oh,
even
Johnny.
load into the game. I'll be there.
Do you have any Johnny? Do you have any like recording standards people need to follow if they're gonna send you any recordings? Like, do they need to have music off or?
Yeah, always music off. Definitely. Don't record music for sure. I make sure I do all DRM free music so other people can watch my shit on their streams. Not that they do, but
Hey,
I also
important
just like
question.
doing
Can we
DRM-free.
swear on this podcast?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Please visit
Cool.
again.
It's YouTube. You're allowed to swear. It's not for kids. I'm not monetized, so that doesn't matter. It only matters if you're doing ads and stuff like that.
I didn't
cool,
know
my
if you were
ship
sponsored by
exploded.
Raid Shadow Legends or anything.
Not yet. I would if people would sign up for it, but I feel terrible to make people do it. It does pay good money though, from what I understand. But I'm not really into doing the ad stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Not really my thing. I'd rather get into just producing my own content and then selling it directly. Which is why I like NFTs. And
I
like
knew
them
it was
now.
going to go there. I was counting.
I know you were.
NFTs?
NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I'm just a big blockchain guy, right? Because I like decentralized finance, and I like the whole, farm-to-table concept of content. I'd rather just cut out all the middlemen and buy my content directly from the people producing it. That's why I like blockchain. It gives us the opportunity to do that type of stuff. Disintermediate. Get those middlemen out of the process, especially if they're just gatekeepers, and that's all they're doing. They're not really adding value to the stack.
Cool.
Yeah, I like blockchain. Love me blockchain.
I'm still sitting on a
Love me
couch. Is
tokens.
anyone else up here?
Yeah, Johnny's here. I'm in the blonde hair, gorgeous guy. Nice. Tan
Oh,
outfit.
so those aren't NPCs. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Manfred's in the Bumblebee armor with you.
Chef's wearing the jacket
The
and the
beanie?
skull t-shirt.
Oh, nice.
sir.
Good outfit, Jeff. Good outfit.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's the jacket I tried to buy for the last recording we did, and it just didn't work. A little jealous.
Yeah, and how you
Shit.
go bald is weird when you put
Expensive
stuff on.
jacket.
I feel a little out of
Game.
place.
You got time to go change.
Hachi's smelly, so he has to sit on the other side.
I did just realize though, the two guys that spend 99.9% of their time in a cockpit are the ones that are wearing FPS gear.
Yep. I decided to dress up. I don't get to use my subscriber gear for anything except when Johnny's like, "Hey, Manfred, get on camera." I'm like, "Okay, time to look pretty."
I would go get mine, but I think I'm a CS5 or 4 right now.
I'm QTing over
You're a
now.
criminal.
Area.
I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back.
I just realized
get rolling with it.
if we're really lucky, we'll see some bounty hunters like stick their nose in that window over across the tables here.
Just every once in a while, a Gladius flies through the window. A brief flash appears.
I need to get a shot of that, actually. That's a good point.
That would look cool.
How'd you like my MTG card, buddy?
I chuckled. I enjoyed it.
I only ask because it's
Your
the
MTG
last thing I
card.
have open.
Yeah,
It's-
I have a folder of just weirdly photoshopped Magic
Please
the
tell me you
Gathering.
have some. Please tell me you have some like Care Bear Teletubby ones or something.
No, they're all incredibly cursed. Hold on.
Where are these things? Where's the goods?
I-
The fuck?
I don't know what. Everything they're saying is
Um,
just making me feel very old.
Sorry. Keep what you kill. And no, I don't play, so
I
just wanted to
do.
feel hip.
Played a match today.
I just want the
won.
memes.
Keep
Haven't
what you
played in
kill
like 2
channel.
years.
Hold on, I'll throw it in media.
Seems like a good spot. I think I'll do the same. what the frick? Did it preload for you guys in media? Because it just gave me a link after I sent it.
Just give me some crazy ass virus. Should I download this and open it on my computer?
You shouldn't have to. What the? Just go. Tell you what. I'm just gonna delete that.
Did it not have a file extension? Yeah, it looks like it didn't have a file extension.
I don't know why. I literally drag and drop. Anyways, if you go
Fucking
to
hackers.
Keep What You Killed channel, that's what I was referring to.
Oh, you were trying to link to the thing. Yeah. They may not have perms to see it. I can't remember.
Like,
Yeah. I'm trying another.
If they don't have the
route
Fighter Academy tag, they can pretty much not see anything except like Ready Room.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's just for Thunderdome. That's open.
actual fucking homicide.
That is one of my favorite cards. Because
Like
it's not
that.
crappily edited, it actually looks like a Magic card.
Oh, it was Magic you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to play
Yes,
that
sir.
very, very, very long time ago. Not very long though. I got into it a little bit and I was like, nope, too much card buying.
Oh,
Yep.
it's gotten so much worse, man. Especially if you're playing Commander format. Oof. It's bad.
Yep. Buddy tried to get me into it. I have 3 Commander decks. I regret it so much.
Yeah, I've got
I should
5 and they
sell
cost
them.
about my tuition. It's awful.
Ooh, lol. Yep.
I just got more annoyed
Yeah,
with how I
looked at
felt
it
like
now,
the game was
and it.
so terribly balanced.
Yes.
But if everything's unbalanced, nothing is.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It works.
free for all of meta exploits. I
Yep.
got tired of it pretty fast. Also, it was like the problem with like, I don't know if you guys played 40K. I think it was third
Yeah.
edition rules where they were like super vague about the rules and they're like, basically make up your own thing. And I'm like, you just gave nerds the giant reason to fight about stuff all the time. Half our 40K game was arguing about the rule interpretation.
Yep.
No, it's right from the tip of my gun. No, you cannot shoot around corners.
The main problem with that, like, finally resolved after like a tournament when some dude deployed his whole army in a way that didn't let the other guy deploy a single thing, and then he automatically won because he couldn't put a single unit on the table.
Nice.
It was hilarious.
Wrapped
Yeah,
around
they
the
were
whole
so
board or
sloppy.
something like that.
Yep,
Yeah.
and he was a Tau player, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I've heard the rule set's gotten a lot better.
8th edition super convoluted. 9th is even worse.
Oh no.
There's just too much now.
Yeah.
Oh, finally here.
We missed you, Pluto. Welcome.
Now I'm just starting to wonder how many whiskey sours I'll get down before we even start.
I'd like to kick it off in about 10-15 minutes. We should be ready to roll by then.
I'm just giving you shit, man. I don't really care.
No, I didn't think you did. I just think. 2?
Okay, well
Whiskey
now I
sour?
do.
2 maybe? I guess that's where I was
this
driving to. It's like a number, I just didn't get there. Sorry, 2, maybe 1.5 whiskey sour? That's 3. So, nice.
But
I haven't
they're
actually
baller
tracked
glasses.
your ingestion pace, so I'm not sure on the stats. I'd have to ask Goose. He's the science guy.
Well, I'm
I'll write a
halfway through
tech
number
report
3.
on whiskey sours if you ask him.
And he would do a bang up job of it too. You know?
Oh,
Don't
yes, you
test me.
You say we're doing it by the like defunct racetrack or in the bar?
Defunct racetrack. So the bar, like where the beers are, right above it. There's a little landing with couches. Come have a seat next to me, Waffle. Or Pluto. Sorry.
Ah, I see it. Nice.
Hey, Manfred, if you're really bored, I got a job for both of us while we're waiting.
Oh god, what do we got?
Let's both go down there and just keep escorting beer bottles up here, dropping them on the floor so we all look like alcoholics.
I'm on it.
Oh, that's a great idea, actually. Yeah, lace them out. Yeah, stack it. Love it.
People
On the
want to listen to
tables,
the
too.
drunk guys.
Because when people get here, like actually one person to stand at the table, like in front of us, So when I do the wide angle shot from behind, there's someone there. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Nice. Looking good there. Who's in the Mohawk?
Oh, that's Pluto.
Nice. Looking good, Pluto. Hey, baby. I like my wife.
Please.
Disappeared.
Yep, immediately despawned.
Mine was on the
Fell
table,
over.
but then it fell over.
And now the Tachi's is despawned. I don't know if this works.
Oh, yeah. We're not on a cargo grid. That's right. They won't stay. You'd have to be on a ship.
Ah, damn it.
That's right.
Well, it was a good idea while it lasted.
It was, yeah.
A for effort.
I'm proud of you, Itachi. Do you need something?
I love how you're teabagging him.
It's those blue eyes, buddy. I can't help it.
You're like forward cowgirl
Hey,
teabagging.
I have to be professional once he starts recording. Until then, I'm
I'm recording.
What the fuck?
Grid.
This is gonna be the intro.
Can one of you guys get up? I'm stuck.
No one get up.
Why we don't do this.
Let him think about what he's done. No one move.
You made your choice.
Itachi, while you're sitting there,
Eventually,
500
fully.
words on why you're a naughty boy.
Go screw yourself.
MLA format, please.
Ew. Make him ride an IEEE.
Huh.
No, he
Hey,
needs
you
12
saved it,
point
buddy.
font times New Roman.
I may have screwed up.
All right, how's everyone doing getting
May
cheap
have.
packs? Where is everyone? Dirty and the lads? Chef is here, I know.
Itachi, are you sorry for what you did?
Fight me.
Make him backspace, man. Make him backspace. It'll give us the opportunity to try to steal his stuff.
I also kind of like the idea of just having like a non-explained body on the floor for this podcast recording. There's just a corpse draped over me and Chef.
As long as it doesn't T-pose, though.
Oh, that's fair.
T-pose no head would be bad.
Just use it as like a blanket.
Can you guys actually stand up and let him get in? I just
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to hear the shot, please. Oh, shit.
Oh
no.
shit.
We can drag his body, can't we? I literally
If
hit
it
Y.
stays there ragdoll with him, we can use it, yes.
Alright, that worked.
I'm starting to understand why I'm not invited to these.
Cleanup crew was successful.
Oh,
Oh,
did
you
it
threw it
just
over the
despawn?
edge?
It despawned immediately. I grabbed him and then he
Alright.
vanished. I'm good at
You
what
want
I
to
do.
explain to me what the hell I walked into?
You don't wanna know. You don't wanna know.
You know what
It's
forward
hot.
cowgirl is? That's all you're getting. No one else tell him anything.
Well, I mean, I assume it's just cowgirl.
All right. I'm going to go smoke again. Let's hopefully get this show on the road. Nice. Passed out. That's a good shot. Stay there, Pluto. I'm
I like
recording
that.
right now. This is good. Yeah, this looks good.
He is vanishing into the table every couple nanoseconds, though.
Not for me. I'm
For
on my
me,
top-down
this
view.
is
He looks
perfect.
great. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm
he's
on the
perfect.
top-down
Should
view.
get a good side.
It's good B-roll.
Yep. I'm here, just gonna do a quick costume change and I'll be ready.
Yeah, no problem. I want to go smoke one more smoke, and then we'll kick this bad boy off.
Hair and makeup's
I
in the
think
back.
the discussion should take about half an hour, 45 minutes. Try to
Sounds good.
This is about a third or fourth time trying to load into the server. It's not too
Out,
much.
leaving you.
Oh, is this your live stream thing that you're trying to do, Johnny?
Yeah, the podcast. We're doing one on Piracy. First part of it's about how we can improve the gameplay loop, like how do we make it more enjoyable for the space dads, what CIG can do to potentially do that, talk about goals, and get into more mechanics one then, because 317's coming up and how we think it's going to go from there, and then 318 with the full cargo refactor. And then a bit into the imagine, like at the end if we want to, hey, I would really like to see this. Under the table's great too, please.
Yeah,
Or
that's
under the
pretty
table, that's
funny.
even better.
Yeah, you're not clipping anything here either. It's a really good layout. So yeah,
I
then we'll
don't know
jump
how you
into it.
managed that. That's perfect.
So most of it, I'll be throwing the ball to Dirty and his crew, and then on certain topics, if anyone wants, I'm gonna monitor the Ready Room channel.
Dookly.
So if you want to jump in and something, just like put your hand up type thing. And if I think there's anything relevant to your position or point of view, then I'll call into people and stuff. But mostly it'll be kind of interview format, kind of discussion. And then if you see anything you want to jump into, right, just, verbally raise your hand. Like, hey, if there's an opportunity. Everyone's mature here. And anyone who's having trouble getting into the server doesn't really matter, right? We can have someone else sit in place for you. Because in the last one, Lept was the stand-in for Rumline. We actually filmed it later. We did the interview just purely on audio.
Gotcha. I'm gonna try resetting my computer.
Are we supposed to have FOIP on for this?
No, I'm not enforcing that yet. That's later on down the road.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to restart the computer. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem. We got like 15 minutes. I like to get it rolling at 11. So if not, we'll just go audio on you. We'll get you a stand-in. Get you a beauty double. Goose can stand in for you.
Whoa,
Waffle's the handsome man.
He's
right
gorgeous.
here.
He's gorgeous. Well, that's true.
Hello.
I am.
He's the man who's too pretty to die.
You're goddamn right.
That's a good tagline.
I just had delicious spicy ramen.
Oh,
So
now I'm
good.
hungry. Stop doing this.
I
can't
am
eat food.
so
It's
jealous
delicious.
now.
Good.
I'm so jealous. I'm waffle.
I just had like an 8-hour flu/COVID episode. So I in the morning I was
Perfect
fine.
time for
My
spicy ramen.
my son got sick, and then I was like, oh shit. And then 1 o'clock hit me like a brick. I felt like I had malaria. Like I got so cold and chills. I was trying to have a cigarette, and I'm just like, my hand is just vibrating. I was like, holy crap. I was about to cancel and reschedule this because there was no way the shape I was in. And then the fever broke at 8 o'clock. I woke up and I was like, oh, sweating like a motherfucker, and now I feel fine.
Your immune system did an any percent speed run. What the hell, man?
Yeah. If it was that new COVID one, then I did get it early on, the alpha strain early on. Maybe that's working for me. Who knows? Probably wasn't. Oh.
Who's the one dressed like a Teletubby?
Alright,
could be
we
me.
figure that out.
I like it.
I've had issues. I've lost a lot of outfits throughout the universe, so I had to pick something quick one day, and I like colors, so there you go.
I wish I could take my Klesher outfit with me.
Fun fact about Grimhex right now, we do have a couple people who are active on voice over IP right now. Just rando Calrissians.
Uh-oh.
Yo.
I hate you.
Yeah, but
want
nobody
you to know
goes
that
into
all
that
part.
area.
I hate you.
so.
You don't hate me, I'm fantastic.
They might be fans of Double Dogs. You never know, Goose.
Oh, if they're friends of Double Dogs, then they're friends of mine.
Yeah, that's true. Who's power stancing next to Johnny right now? It's really intimidating.
Who forgot how to sit?
You guys chilling at a lounge in Grimhex or something?
A firm. Is this one of the randos or is this Pluto?
That's Pluto.
Oh, okay.
Por que no los dos?
See.
And fast travel.
The old Star Citizen fast travel, eh?
Well, I just got out of prison. I gotta get back to Grimhex.
Monodirectional.
Naughty, naughty.
It would be nice if, when you got out of prison, it just stuck you in your home port.
It would, wouldn't it? But taxes don't get paid to send you to where you want to go.
Hey, you get a few bucks to pay for a bus when you get out of prison.
I can't wait till getting out of prison requires you pulling your ship off Klesher and flying away.
I actually kind of do want that, so I stop having to claim my fucking ship every time.
That would be awesome, actually.
As long as it gives you a flight suit, a basic flight suit, and a basic helmet, if you don't have one. Sometimes I fly in a gown.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You
Other
don't have
times
a
I
Raven. What do you need an atmosphere
don't even
for?
wear the gown, baby. But
Hey. I was gonna say, you don't have a Raven. You don't need, spacesuit.
well, sometimes I like to land at Port Olisar or other harbors that aren't Grimhex.
Nah.
There's
that's
harbors
dumb.
other than Grimhex?
Yeah, right?
Why did no one fucking tell me this, guys?
So you guys down at the bar, or what?
No,
They
we're
are-
above the Double Dog stand near the old abandoned racetrack.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna head over to PO and put on my wardrobe.
I just use double dogs as a point of reference whenever I'm talking to Goose. Works out fine.
Honestly, the thing that actually tipped me off to where you were was the racetrack. And the one time I was at Grimhex starving.
Goose, it's a bit. Don't make me look stupid.
But I can't change what you are.
Ouch.
You have to embrace who you are on the inside, Manfred.
Itachi, can I abuse admin powers again real quick?
Don't you do it.
I don't give a shit. I'm not the only staff here.
Miss input.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Everyone does that to him. I'm actually surprised nobody's put him in timeout.
Why are you so threatened by me?
We just enjoy ping-ponging you around. I tell you what, Manfred, while we're at it and we're waiting, you move him to purple and I'll move him to orange, and we'll just send him back and forth.
All right, I'm on it.
Well, you really fucking did it.
Yes.
I moved him to green.
This is a really good tennis match.
We have fun here, FFA.
Oh shit, I missed. No. Got it. I'm gonna throw you a curveball.
Oh god. Ooh, shit. I wasn't ready for that, man.
All
right,
right, we're
bastard.
looking good here. We got Pluto standing up there, looking good. Who's sitting beside me? I'm Johnny's blonde-haired guy in the tan outfit with the really nice shoes.
Who's
It's
this
Chef's
leather
clone.
jacket clad beanie person?
Yeah.
The admin logs are going to be fun if anyone ever reviews that.
All right, Pluto, I'm going to get you to move forward just a tiny bit, not stand on the keg, because it looks terrible. Just stand there. That's perfect. Oh,
just
no,
remember
where you were, we're good. You're out of the shot now. Where you were, it's good. It was perfect. Careful moving around me, though, because you fuck up my camera moves. There you go.
Yeah, he did the same to mine.
Yeah, next patch, though, they're putting the ability to anchor it. So I'm super happy about that, so it won't do that shit anymore. Which is really nice for taking shots, because NPCs do it all the time, too, and they ruin a shot.
Oh, someone yelled at me. Thank you, dog.
And it's hard to get people to walk through a scene like you want that, too, and then it fucks up the cameras. In the ass.
Someone yelled at me at Everest because I walked past them and it ruined their shot, apparently.
Yeah, it's so easy. It's annoying.
They're like, you're like the 5th person to walk past me. I'm like, you're standing next to the ASOP consoles. What the hell do you expect?
I think I'm gonna go on number 4 here pretty soon, Johnny.
Yeah, we're gonna get rolling in a sec. Once all the Chaos people check in, so what we'll start with, I'll do an intro, right? The whole, hey, welcome to Skunkcast episode 2. We're gonna have a discussion on piracy and ways to improve the experience for space stats, right? And that's the focus of the topic, and piracy going forward in 317, 318. And we have the amazing Chaos, the notorious, amazing, incredible Chaos Squad here as special guests, along with Itachi, Waffle, that Manfred guy, no one cares about him, Pluto, etc., and stuff like that. So it's fun. You're such a good sport about it, so you do good banter.
I'll take it.
The reward for doing a good job is more work.
Manfred, the king of the burp.
Do you need Waffle to sit down, or can I just continue standing around?
Sorry, that was Pluto?
Waffle. You need Waffle to sit, or can I just continue farting around in Grimhex?
If you want to come fill out the scene for sure, then yeah, you need to get into a position now. So do we have Dirty here? He's in the horned helmet, right?
Yep.
And then the Space Cobra Khan guy.
This is Violet.
Violet's the very loud one. Yeah, I saw you on the stream recently. I like your great addition to the team, by the way. Nice
I'm
to
the
meet you, Violet.
loud one.
You sound great. It's nice. It's nice.
Okay.
Fills out the team.
Okay, great, thanks.
And then who's in the Hurston armor? I think it is.
Waffle is.
Ooh, Waffle. Yeah, you stand there. You're looking good in the shot. All right, so I got the
You
wide
looking
angle
fine,
shot.
baby.
You goddamn right.
Adjust these a little bit. Overhead's good.
I'm putting my wardrobe on.
I think it goes without saying, you remember to put an input in your controllers every once in a while, or you will get kicked for being idle.
Yes. Yeah. Move the keys. It's a very good call out.
Whoever's standing next to me, please don't take off your pants next to my face again.
Nope, it's gonna happen. Wow,
I thought you liked that kind of thing.
Only if you ask nicely.
That's fair.
Over is good. Wide angle's good. All right, so Manfred's on the couch. We got Chef there. I might move you, Manfred, and put Dirty right there.
Understandable.
Yeah, you're getting bumped. You're a seat warmer. Sorry. Move
I'll
over
cry
to
about it
the
later.
couch.
Don't worry.
There you will. Cry to your bird about it.
He'll just laugh at me. Where do you want me to stand?
You can sit on the other couch.
Porter also.
Sorry, Chef, but I'm gonna have to request that my pirate queen sit next to me on the couch here.
Oh, there's no room. I'm not in the right angle to see it. Yeah, Chef, you sit over in the first spot. Manfred, if you can take the middle on the couch with them.
Wait, these can sit 3 people?
Oh, sorry, it's only 2. Yeah, I'm lying. Go sit with Chef.
Okay.
Although you might get bumped and then whoever else of Dirty's crew is showing up here will sit in between or stand in between. Is anyone else coming? Wait, we got Chef Caden, right? Caden's coming?
Caden's having technical difficulties. He hasn't checked back in.
Okay. That's
I'm
right.
here
We might
now,
need to
sorry.
stand in for him.
I can be
You
whoever
loaded?
you want me to be, Johnny.
I'm here right now.
I see Kaden.
Oh, word.
Did any of y'all know Grand Thumb?
Yeah,
Who says yes?
Mongoose.
Where are you sitting?
I'm putting on my wardrobe.
He's still in hair and makeup. It takes a while to make him look pretty.
Yeah,
My character resembles Grand Thumb.
very nice. Don't you touch my ship, Port Olisar.
Yeah. Move forward a little bit, whoever's standing on the kegs. We want to stand on the ground.
Johnny, I got
Good?
So I'm the one sitting next to you, and I've got an overview from my character's left, looking all the way down the benches, more or less.
Oh, perfect. I was just setting up that
so
shot, actually.
I'm actually just going to leave it that way, so you're going to have probably several minutes. Actually, here.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
You tell me if you want it differently, but this is what I had set up. I'll adjust it slightly if you'd like. Give me 1 second.
All right, we're going to start in a few
OBS.
seconds. That's perfect.
There you go. You can check out my live stream.
Move it in a little bit. Yeah, that's looking good. Yeah, leave it there. That's a good one.
Okay.
All right, cool.
So if I'm walking your way, where should I avoid not to ruin your shot?
We're filled out for it right now, so I'm going to call
Cool.
the like if you get here. Are you here?
I'm on my way from PO.
Yeah, so in the next setup, so we'll do the first bit of discussion. We'll see how it's going. If we want, we can rearrange for a little bit, but I think we're good here. If you come in, just stand beside Waffle, is where you want to stand in the shop.
That's
I'm by the staircase. I'm in the red Hurston armor.
Red
yeah,
Hurst armor. Got it.
Yeah. Or the other side of Itachi, who's sitting beside me.
I mean, I
Alright,
could also sit
everyone
outside the windows on my spaceship, but
And we're just waiting on Caden, right? Caden's showing up? Oh, no, he's standing here. He's
I'm
standing
standing here, yeah.
Should we make a quick announcement in like global chat or something to say not to join Ready Room?
Yeah, I was going to lock it, actually.
Oh, that's terrible timing.
Yeah, sorry, Monster. We're doing a podcast.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Get the fuck out of here. No, you can.
You're the example. You're getting banned.
Oh wait a
We're
second.
Not to name names, Monster, but I'm just kidding.
I'd say as long as he's muted, he could stay. at this point.
Manfred.
No, yeah, I wasn't worried about like him talking or anything. Just the do throughout the entire
yeah.
podcast
Good
could get
point.
annoying.
I turned that off.
Point.
I've muted I turned all those sounds off in Discord because I fucking hate them anyway. So you won't be in my recordings. But everyone else is has a good point.
Don't use your Mobi-Glass Itachi because you're wanted and it'll update your position.
Huh?
Don't use your Mobi-Glass because that'll update your position into the game world. So
really? So that's how it updates.
Yeah, bounty hunters will come to
If
this
you're a
position
Grimhack.
if you use your Mobi-Glass. So do not use it.
Okay.
Hmm.
We should test that. That's cool. I didn't know that. I was wondering why sometimes it pops up and sometimes it doesn't at Grim.
Yeah.
I was assuming that there's pockets where, yeah.
Anytime you use a terminal or a Mobi-Glass, it will update your position.
So it is replicating the data. It is surfacing it. That's interesting. Yeah, we were just talking about that kind of. So it is kind of already doing that.
Since you are wanted and we are kind of in a hard-to-reach place, people will investigate, and we don't want people ruining shots.
If honestly, if a bounty hunter shows up, so I should test my in-game.
Basically, Johnny's wondering
you guys hear
if
me
they
in-game?
will like ram us, not in-game.
No.
Oh, thanks.
Mic check.
Mike,
that sounded.
I heard you waffle.
That wasn't me, but it sounded angelic.
Yeah, I can hear Pluto.
Yeah, I heard you
Johnny
waffle.
in game now.
Yeah, Pluto's in game.
Yeah. Yeah, in-game VoIP started working again on both the PTU and the PU when they dropped the PTU.
It stopped working?
Yeah, it stops working every single time before they drop a PTU. They take it offline. Just not enough people use it to notice it, but I've noticed it on every single patch. It just stops working. But there's no indicator that it's really offline. Which makes me check my settings all over, and then I'm like, nope. Everyone tested it, nope, it's just off. Hey, you're very quiet in game, Manfred, but I could hear you.
I'm not talking in game.
No, that was dirty.
Oh, that was dirty?
Yeah, I gave it a shot. It's so quiet.
It might be the helmet, and there's two.
Manfred, what you put in media?
Chef asked to see my weird MTG collection, so I threw those in there.
All right, so we can talk to people if they come in, so we're fine. All right, I think we're going to kick this off now. You guys all ready? Everyone's all set?
Let's do it.
We will go live. I'll give us a countdown, and then I will start into it. All right. Dial it in, boys. All right, 3, 2, 1. Hello, citizens of the verse, and welcome to the second podcast, Skunkcast podcast. Today, we're going to focus a bit more on the question of piracy and dial in a little bit onto how it can be an enjoyable experience for both sides of the transaction, not just the pirates when they're successful, because there's also the side of when they're unsuccessful. And kind of focus a little bit of that discussion around that. We have some very special guests today. We have Chaos Squad here. I'm going to get them to introduce themselves. Captain Dirty, I met in-game very early on in my Star Citizen career. Met him here in Grimhex. This is where we're having a little chat. Plus, he's a wanted man, right? So, you know, this is about the only place we're going to have the chat. And I met him in game here in Grimhex. I fell in love with him. I've been following his content online since then. And Chaos Squad has grown to be a very notorious, well-known set of pirates who engage in a very, I don't want to say clean piracy, but the kind of the piracy, I think, the archetype that CIG really wants out of their pirates, like Cutlet, like Mongrel, even to an extent like Shadow Moses, right? That people that will engage and build a reputation in the game of being good quality players to interact with. It's worth your time to do it. So I'm going to pass the ball over to Dirty, give him a chance to introduce his team. We got a couple of his team members here. And then I'll kick it out to the FFA people, the Freelance Fighter people, Academy people that are also here to contribute to the discussion. So, Dirty, over to you, bud.
Yo ho ho! Thanks for the warm introduction. I'm Captain Dirty, the leader of Chaos Squad. And I've got Violet, Chef, and Caden here. All dirty pirates, just like myself. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. Violet, would you like to give yourself a little bit of an introduction? How did you get into the piracy lead? Because you're pretty new to the team, aren't you?
Yes, very new. Still kind of learning. I like shooting things, so I'm Dirty's gunner. And yeah, like I said, I'm still learning, and I get pretty frustrated all the fucking time. But
well, that's fair.
so
This
far.
is Star Citizen. Yeah. This is Star Citizen. It's the problem, as I was saying earlier, made the analogy that we're, Star Citizen's still a house under construction. We're playing inside the construction site. At times, it will not go well. That's something actually we'll touch base on the second part of the discussion, too, is a little bit about the mechanics of piracy and how we want to see it go forward. And then a little bit of our imagined discussion at the end of, what we would love to see. So, Dirty, you also, Chef, give yourself a little rundown. And we also have Caden as well, too. So, Chef, you go next. Give yourself a little rundown. How did you get into piracy? Give the audience a little taste of Chef.
Well, been playing this game now for about 2 years or so solid. Just honestly got bored of what the game had to offer and wanted some solid crew experience, and stumbled across Chaos Squad on YouTube, and there's nothing more teamwork than what we actually end up having to do when we actually try to play this. So contacted him as quickly as I could and went from there. It's been a year and a half now since I've been playing with them, so
nice. Very cool. I love it. And Caden, give us a little rundown, audience, a little info on Caden. How do you get into piracy and how do you get into chaos?
I was actually contracted as a bodyguard during a meeting with Chaos, because they didn't trust Captain Dirty here. And then I decided to join Chaos to learn piracy tactics, to teach counter piracy. And I enjoyed it so much I stuck around and became a dirty pirate myself.
That is really interesting. That's a very interesting part of it. Itachi, I'm going to throw it over to you right now to introduce yourself. So we have some of the Freelance Fighter Academy guys. Itachi is similar to me and my background in Star Citizen. I've been in the game now for it's the tail end of 2018, so we're going on, I guess, 3 years or so now, something like that. And initially mining, did a little bit of training, but mostly a miner and PvE stuff, right? I like the PvP, but I didn't have the gear or the computer initially. Since then, I've upgraded my machine significantly, got the dual sticks, and I've now got really heavy into it. Not piracy per se myself, although I do engage in a little bit, and I would like to explore some of that gameplay in the future with a different persona that I can engage in that. So I find that very interesting. So Itachi, you want to give yourself a little rundown of you from the Freelance Fighter Academy. We're going to throw it over to Pluto then, and then we will give Manfred a little second to give themselves a little rundown of who they are, and then we'll jump into the discussion.
So yeah, I joined at the end of 2019. I'd actually known about the game for many, many years. My father, of all people, was trying to get me into it. So I finally bought it, started playing. Had no interest in any sort of combat or, conflict of any kind, because I just didn't think I'd be any good at it. So started out doing hand mining, eventually went to, prospect mole mining. At that point, you got enough money that you want to start flipping it, doing cargo hauling, all that good stuff. So started making a ton of money doing that. I think at one point I had 3 or 4 cats that I would hire people to help me run it. And when you see that many cats leaving port at the same time, it tends to attract, we'll say, nefarious attention, as I imagine a few people in here could imagine. So I started running into a few issues here and there, people trying to either blow my ships up or pirate us, and I finally took it into my own hands, was like, you know what, I'm going to learn how to defend myself, and I never looked back. At that point, I really started getting into the PvP, the dogfighting, light, medium fighters, even some of the bigger ships, and learning all the different ins and outs between weapons and components and all of that. And yeah,
an amazing journey too, right? Because you went from someone who's a miner to now teaching and engaging in the larger scale battles too, and your own growth curve went from, you're engaging more in the Freelance Fighter Academy, so you're doing the bigger stuff now versus just the one-on-one, and that's a total different trajectory. Won't touch base on that one too much. We'll do another podcast on that, because I love the team stuff. And going back to Chef, who brought the point up about teamwork and engaging it, that same motivation is also here. We really enjoy the teamwork aspect, but a really good point about piracy being a very complicated and very demanding on the teamwork level to execute on and be successful. So I'm going to throw it over to Manfred, and then we'll give Pluto a chance to introduce himself, and then we'll jump into the discussion.
Well, hey guys, one of the squadron leads over here in FFA, and I used to be like these guys. I was pretty much exclusively PvE. I've been playing space games as long as I can hold a mouse and keyboard, and during Elite Dangerous days, I would just run from any of those hollow squares that indicated a player. But once I joined Star Citizen, got picked up by some guys in an org, and found my way over here. Been sticking around ever since. I don't think I've killed an AI since, I don't know, last year. It's been PvP ever since.
Yeah, you blew past me on the skill level too. I fear you now. I have to work against you a bit more, get my skill up. But we had a really good run there your last 3 versus 3. That was super fun. Pluto, all right, give yourself a little rundown. Also, I want to note that we could actually hear your bird in the background, so it makes sense that you're getting into the piracy side. It's just you know.
I'm putting it
foregoing
on stage.
conclusions.
I'm working on it.
So Pluto, give us a little rundown of yourself. You got in the Freelance Fighter Academy. Nice little wave there. Like the emotes.
I have been playing Star Citizen for quite a while, but got into the whole org side around Jumptown when it really popped off, and realized that I needed to get better at flying and shooting and all the other fun stuff. So I looked up Skunkworks and then the Freelance Fighter Academy, which does the training for them. And it's been, happy pirating ever since.
Excellent. All right, so let's kind of frame the discussion here a little bit. The first part of it that we're going to talk about, and then we were having a pre-chat beforehand a bit about this, is how do we make this process, the transaction between a pirate and, let's say, a miner or a cargo or another player in general, is mostly around time. That someone's going to lose their time, someone's going to gain time. Either side can. An unsuccessful pirate loses 6 hours of time they put in setting up to do that operation. This is also an issue on other places like NoPixel and the RP servers, and there was a really good chat today that popped up from Summit 1G that I was watching, and he made some really good points about it, and this is where focusing on that time transaction, and how does CIG, as a company that wants to build a platform that includes all of these archetypes in the verse, to add that flavor, to add that living narrative so they don't have to do it all themselves, right? They want Chaos Squad. They want these people here because it makes the narrative and the stickiness of the platform and verse much deeper for individuals. However, it can churn people out, and Chaos Squad, I'm sure you've had the brunt of negative interactions, and you've had some really positive ones. One of the ones, which I'll find the clip and make sure it's in the description, is that instance when you took down that caterpillar full of quantonium, right? The guy knew who you were, so he complied with you. You guys ran into some bugs, but because he had interacted with you enough to know that, oh wait, this guy actually knows who we are, and he probably is legit, he came back in, right? And you guys executed on the transaction, went so far to make sure that his experience was really good. And so he's an example of what I personally think CIG is aiming for with piracy gameplay and that type of interaction. They want to have a positive one, but it's very difficult to do. So I kicked out to Dirty and said, hey, let's have a conversation about this. Have you thought about that before? And he said, no, I actually really haven't thought about how do you explore that. So some of the ways that I see it, and I'm going to pass the ball over to him to give his points too, is that CIG does have the ability to do behavioral marketing to players and reward them for the exclusive content when there are good actors in these transactions to compensate them for the loss of time. And that also includes pirates losing in that transaction and losing their time, right? So if, let's say, I'm going to use a skin as an example just because it's very, very easy. I'm not actually proposing that as a mechanic. It's just an example of, let's say, Chaos Squad successfully pirates me. I was a good actor in it. They boarded my ship. They disabled me. I had a little fight out with them. They downed me, and then they revived me after taking all my stuff, and then left me naked on some outpost on the moon and took my ship and then sold the stuff at Grimhex, and they made X amount of dollars, right? Not as much as if they were honest people, because there has to be a black market tear down on it, right? That people are going to take a rip, and you're not going to get the full value on it. But then they also, in the end transaction from it, what I get, because I was, they can track my metrics inside of it, of how I interacted with these people, that I get exclusive access to this skin that says, I got pirated by Chaos Squad, and all I got was this lousy skin, right? That's just a joke in the sense of the mechanic, but it would feel a lot better to me, and then also let people see that I am potentially a good person to interact with, signaling other pirates that if you're going to interact with me, there is a good chance for a positive outcome. Even though I may lose the transaction, I'm willing to at least get sweaty over it and abide by the rules of the verse. So I'm going to throw the ball back to Dirty here and his team to comment a little bit and maybe give their ideas around how you can potentially improve that experience for what is a giant portion of our player base. Right, in the gaming demographics, and I harp on this endlessly, 76% of the gaming market is single player gamers, right? A lot of those people are our space dads. They dip their toe into the multiplayer category, which is just 20%. That's the people who do teamwork and maybe do PvE mainly, maybe a little bit of PvP, right, and stuff, but they'll do a mix of it. And like myself, I'll go and do mining and trading, and it's not always PvP every day in and out. Then you have the smallest category, which is the 4% of the market, which is PvP only. Most of them are globbed up in Fortnite, Warzone, etc., the free-to-play ones. So, Star Citizen's trying to find a balance between those two, and I really personally want to hear other people, especially on the other side of the transaction, from their own perspective and from the other, Space Dad's perspective, how this interaction could be improved and potentially reward them in some way to compensate them for their loss of time. Dirty.
Okay. So
there's a simple topic, right?
There's a lot to unpack there. I think the starting point really is this is a confrontational transaction here, right? I mean, our kind of modus operandi is to target any ship that's going to have anything of value on it, right? And so we're actively targeting that player base that's probably not really even looking for a fight. And so that's already kind of a challenge there, that most of those players, call them what you will, they're just, trying to kick back and make a little bit of money and buy the next ship, and we're just a roadblock in their way. And they're probably not expecting us based on the last 50 times they did whatever it is that they're doing, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Right off the bat, they feel instantly, I think, in most cases, that oh no, I'm being attacked. It's just some jerk who's going to come and kill me for no reason. And so I think one of the first things that came to my mind when you asked me the question the other day would be to make it more obvious. Like our kind of code is to start with non-lethal weapons, right? To disable a ship, bring it down, bring it to a halt so that we can start our negotiations and maybe a boarding operation. Players need to know that that's happening, right? Just the fact that the lasers are blue isn't enough, I don't think. If there was some visual effect or something like that, maybe some electricity, or there was more audio cues too, like losing power or, whatever, that right there would put us on a better footing to begin negotiations. But, I won't lie, you said that we get a lot of negative interactions. I'd say 80 to 90% of our interactions are, F you, and so we just kill most of the people that we interact with, unless they really have a lot to lose, and then they'll talk. But I'll pass it over to any of the other crew if they want to comment on maybe any other ideas that they had to improve the experience. I've got a few more, but anybody else?
One thing I'd like to jump in on that, to expand on that a little bit more, and we were talking about this earlier, is the reputation system, right? And I like what you referenced there, is how do you communicate that social proof to the other side that Chaos Squad is someone that's actually worthwhile interacting with this type of transaction versus that random guy who's just a kill on sight guy. And I'm come from DayZ and I know them, and the same complaint that we have here in the verse, it's the same one that we had in DayZ, and it's like, it's a pure on PvP only game, right? Like, sure, you can talk to each other, and it's really cool when people do, and you can have those interactions. But the majority of people, I didn't all the time, but then I did later on. I became a mechanic in it, right? But I played on DayZ Underground, which had a whitelist time, right? So I mostly engaged during then, and it was still kill on sight very much. You had to be careful. It was not a joke, and they had some great RP built into it. But they coined the term organic RP, which is however the interaction happens. There's no real rules to govern it, right? If someone kills you on sight, that's the end of the story. Start a new story. Boom, 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 go. But it's also on you. The onus is on you, the player, to provide that richness of character and the ability to have hooks into your interaction, make that opportunity happen. So what I like here, what you were talking about, that I would love to see CIG be able to communicate that social proof on both sides of the transaction. So you also know, is it worthwhile going? A great metric is that 80-20. I 100% expect 80-20 rule to kick in. 80% of the interactions are going to be negative, 20% will be positive, right? And if they can move that to 50-50 or flip it on its head so you can make intelligent choices on who you're going to interact with, That'd be really nice. Sorry, Violet, do you have anything you'd like to add there? I love your guys' thoughts. I talk too much.
I was just gonna say I don't even know if it's 80-20. It seems like it's almost always pretty negative.
There is a bad meme right now, and this is part of why I want to have this conversation, because I do see there's a negative trend and a kind of an entitlement for people to treat pirates incredibly poorly on a personal level and not engage with them on a gameplay level. So this is part of why I want to have this discussion.
That's
and
been
we'll
a constant.
continue to have this discussion.
That's been a constant since day one.
It has.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the salt has been real. We've seen
a lot of that's rooted in that single
stuff.
player attitude, right? Like those people are, like you even said it yourself, they come in and they treat the game as a single player game. They're not interacting with anyone. They're not grouping up with anyone. They're going from one trade spot to the next, to the next, to the next, making some money to buy a ship that is generally the same type of ship but bigger. Or they've already spent all their money like outside the game and their concierge level, etc. And they have all these ships, and maybe they have a couple buddies that run with them type stuff, but they're treating it as a very, very light cooperative multiplayer or as a single player game. And they get very upset when the multiplayer PvP guys intersect with them. And I do believe there is an onus on CIG to provide high quality touch points, right? And give them people the player journey to interact with it. So sorry, Violet, I'm talking too much.
Oh, I don't have much else to say, but I would just say there's a lot of negativity. And
there is.
The chat it can get pretty bad sometimes. Like, to the point where I'm surprised what some people are saying. But it's okay.
I press F12.
F12, yeah.
Yeah.
Immediately I log in, I press F12. And I'm a no mic, no life guy. That's one thing going forward, not right now, but when we get to live, and probably beta, no mic, no life. I won't even bother. You need to talk to me as a person. I'm not typing in chat. You can dehumanize me in an instant that way. Not happening. No.
That's one thing I wanted to also say is being able to just communicate more easily with people would really help too. It takes two hands to fly these spaceships. How am I going to type as well while I'm trying to pursue a fleeing target or a combative target, right? So we have to have, at this point in the game, basically a dedicated person to communicate with someone if it's an active situation. If that were the case, if we're easier to just open comms and comms were more reliable, I think that would help too. But reputation is also a big thing. We have, depending on who you ask, people will say we're the scummiest pirates in the game, or actually you can trust us if you make a deal with us. So yeah, we get lucky sometimes when people do know us and do know our reputation. But yeah, most of the time it's a lot of negative stuff. Anybody else want to try?
And to find that reputation, they essentially have to go to YouTube. There's no communication of it in game yet. So that's one of the things I would like to see added. And the data is there, right? Is Chaos Squad getting added to that reputation app? So when I do have an interaction with you, it is recorded, right? And the quality of that interaction can be kind of recorded and assessed, and I can give feedback through that reputation system potentially. Like, yeah, you know what? These guys were actually really good, although I'm totally pissed about losing my stuff. They treated me very well throughout the process, and didn't make it super, hurt, like didn't make the pain terrible, and like I was not salty about it too. So I would like to see that, like a little bit of the social proof moving to it. Anyway,
yeah,
sorry. Anyone else want to jump in?
You could, sorry. I think you could do that, but I think people will just lie too. So I think at a certain point you just have to kind of take a chance if you're on the other end of the bargain and say, well, I've got 2 million, AUEC wrapped up in this haul. Maybe it's worth it to try and pay these pirates their 200,000. But yeah, Kaden, did you want to jump in?
And that comes with time in game mechanics. Right now, yeah, you lose UEC, but you got a lot of people that say, I'm not paying the pirates. There's no negative effects of you not complying and either blowing your ship up or just backspacing. Yeah, you're going to lose your stuff anyways, whether you pay or not, because we're going to kill you for not paying. Our motto is pay or die. But if you blow up your ship, there's no negative impact on the gameplay. Not yet, which is coming. But in 3.18, when we don't have to say, hey, or let me say correction, when salvage comes into the game with, let's say, the reclaimer, we don't have to negotiate with you. All we need to do, board your ship, kill you, take your goods, cargo refractor, hopefully transport to the Mars ship, sell your goods
Mm-hmm.
at a profit, strip your vehicle of components and whatever we want, salvage the rest with the reclaimer. And when that happens, people are going to realize it's better off to try to have that window of negotiations so you don't lose millions in this game. So it's better, really better, to try to negotiate if we give you that option, if the pirate gives you that option. But also you have people that are just gonna light you up in chat and start off with the foul words, and that just makes us harsher to the consequences of what we do.
Well, and this is one of the things that I wanted to comment on too, is that people on the opposite side of this talk a lot about how pirates should have all these restrictions placed on them and that they can't get away from their reputation and etc. I think the same thing should apply to them. Like, if you're being a terrible, toxic player on the other side of the transaction, or being disingenuous towards the interaction itself or whatnot, right? Like getting negative is what I want to say, but that should also, you're combat logging, you're self-destructing yourself, you're kind of cheating mechanics, or you're avoiding the interaction any way you can. That should follow you around too on the other side of it, so that people can make intelligent choices about how they want to interact with you, right? Like, reputation should matter a lot in this verse, especially when we become the 3 shards, and then hopefully later the single shard, right? The global shard is kind of the high-end goal for CIG, that they have one verse running, that's it. We're going to get regional because of the limitations of technology right now, but eventually we hope to get there. The reputation of us in the verse matters. This is part of why I'm putting the time in now to lay out who OldManJohnnyMorgan is, and kind of give myself a little bit of a narrative, because in the long scope of the verse, I like having a little bit of a minor rep in it, and I want to be able to interact with people, and so that they know when they bump into Johnny Morgan, it's going to be a pretty good interaction set, so it is more worth my while to do so. Same thing with piracy, is how do you make it more worthwhile for people to do that, right? And that's the difficult part. And if anyone else has any more thoughts on that, I would love to hear them too, because we talked a little bit about reputation, a little bit of like maybe exclusive content, a little bit of tying it into the Qantas system, maybe giving them exclusive access to missions, giving them more protection on the side of the AI, right? Well, more of it will spawn in with them, or when they get attacked, etc. There are ways that the CIG can shape a more positive outcome for them and give the person some sort of compensation, which they can then leverage to make up for that loss faster than they would normally have to do, right? If you took 4 hours to get that Quantonium, and they compensated you that you could re-get the same amount of value roughly in an hour and a half, it's not too bad, right? That's good. That's kind of like a decent consolation prize, and I think they need to think a little bit of that side of it and how they can mitigate it there. But I would love other people's thoughts, because I do monopoly that conversation.
There's one thing I've been thinking of, and I mean, I'll say it again. Like, as far as the pirates go, your interaction as a PvE only player is going to probably be pretty negative, and it's probably not going to feel good at any point in the process, because you're going to feel like you're being hassled, being robbed, getting murdered, and having to start all over doesn't feel good either. And I won't even really comment on the people who just alt F4 and try and avoid the experience, because why bother? Right?
Yeah, no,
but there are some things. I think one thing that CIG could do, and this I don't think would be that difficult really, but if the traders didn't have to invest all of their money in their halls, if it worked more on like a contract basis, I think that's one way to kind of ease the pain for that player base who's really only looking for that experience. If they don't have all of that money on the line, then it's not such a bad thing. They lose some reputation as a trader, and they're like, oh, you lost your haul to pirates, well, that's no good, we're not going to give you such a good mission next time. And then we, on the flip side, we're able to take that cargo and maybe we let the pilot live, because why even kill him? We've got the valuables. He can take the empty ship back to wherever, right? There are a lot of ways that these interactions could play out, but the main thing is people have to be willing to cooperate, and some people just kind of have a hard line, like, pirates, I refuse to deal with you. So I don't know. Anyone else?
That's a hard one to mitigate too, definitely. I think Itachi has some points that he'd like to throw in here.
I was gonna say the one thing that really kind of rang true with me when it comes to those scenarios is, and they've already implemented it as far as our ships go, is when you're at the terminal and you're purchasing, whether it be Laranite or medical supplies, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, maybe there is a basis of percentage that you can purchase along with it that is insurance. Say, hey, you lose these, they don't make it from, A to B, you get an X amount percentage of your investment back. You're still going to lose. You're still going to, you're still going to hurt. And when I say an insurance, half is lucky. That's kind of how I look at it. It's one of those things that's like, it's gonna sting. It needs to be painful to know that, you were running without escorts, and maybe you'll touch on this later. You were running without escorts. Maybe you ran through an area that was very popularized by pirates, and you want that a little extra insurance. It's like, maybe if I make it all the way there, I get my premium back. Great, cool. You put this 200K in on a 800,000 credit load. Awesome. You get your 800 and your 200 back. No harm, no foul. But you get pirated, you don't make it. Maybe as a player you have to go to that station and say, hey, I was scheduled. I was supposed to show up with this cargo. I don't have it because I was pirated. I'd like to at least put my claim in for my insurance, and you get your 200K back. Something along those lines would help incentivize people to maybe not only work with you and have that bad experience. I know you guys touched on that a little bit, and that's my biggest fear with any sort of rep system is people just automatically get salty and emotional, and there's no real working with them or being logical or trying to change their mind. And of course it is a negative experience, but maybe with like an insurance system it might help them with that issue.
Piracy insurance is a thing. I don't know, if they would model it necessarily after the real world model, but absolutely, if that's something that industrialists could do, I'm going into a high piracy area. Maybe it's worth it for me to get the piracy insurance this time around. I think that absolutely could help.
I would also like them to be able to surface more data to us, and they have talked about that, and tie it into the dynamic mission system / quanta system in the back end to communicate that data to each other. So if I'm really trying to avoid pirates, or I'm trying to find people to pirate, I'm looking at the data that I have access to. Then that starts tying into the other stuff of data running and some missions to actually gather it, maybe hitting those bartenders like Chris wants, right, us to do, spending a little bit of legwork time setting up your op, and the opposite side spending some legwork time to minimize their risk. And so that they can make intelligent data or decisions based off the data that's being surfaced in the game world, i.e. Chaos is spending a lot of time here. They're pirating AI because it's now become worthwhile to do that. There's a little bit of cash incentive, but also because it tends to bundle in the player inside of these AI convoys, right? So when you come in and interact, there may be a bunch of other ships that get pulled out of quantum with them, right? It's all simulated. It's all there. Tony's virtualizing it all. And then when we intersect, it can all be rendered in the game world based on the limitations of the server and the back-end features, right? So this is a big reason why I'm huge into Star Citizen, is that they solved the pain point with that, and it looks like it's working so far from what we're getting. It is pretty working, like it is getting there. It's going to be a long road for it still. But that's what I was talking about more with the reputation system. Less of people rating you like an Uber style. Hell no. A thumbs up, thumbs down rating has some limited value, but it's a binary solution. It's not really that great. It always ended up that way, right? You either choose 1 star or 5 stars. No one really picks in the middle. It doesn't matter. They don't even look at it when it goes that way.
Agreed.
Like, it's not very useful. It has to be based off the metrics internal to the system and quantum monitoring the metrics. So I know as CIG I have to find the archetype of a bounty hunter, an archetype of a pirate. I have an evaluation criteria, a rubric set up with multiple criteria and levels to it that I can get a really good assessment of the player and know their behaviors, and then start just like pitching content to them that is tailored to them and their level of experience, so that maybe pirates that aren't being successful can be nudged in a way that then they learn how to become successful pirates. And people who are traders and want to learn how to be good, high value traders that go through these pirate areas can be nudged down that road eventually. It's the all or nothing that I hate people thinking of. And that's what I really dislike about the general very hostile toxic space dad, whatever you want to call it, but the person that just refuses to interact. My biggest fear is that there will be too many of those people, and then the verse will fail because no one will ever talk to each other. I'd love to see more communication tools, but it's a really good point, Itachi.
Yeah, can I touch on the Itachi point real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it solves like two birds with one stone, right? Because a lot of the problems that we, at least as pirates, face is all the negativity that comes with our like gameplay style. And honestly, I think it's because there's just no. The traders don't think there's any risk and reward. They don't think they're taking a risk when they go out with their cargo. So when we hop on them, their worldview's basically shattered sometimes. They're like, this exists? Like, my preferred method of piracy is blockading an area and being like, look, you got to pay me to leave or enter. But people are like, yeah, I'm reporting you to CIG. I'm like, dude, this is in the game. They encourage this. So
yeah, it's efficient from your side too. It's a very efficient model of doing it to actually generate interactions. It's not so much that you're trying to pirate per se, you're trying to generate interactions with other players.
Exactly.
Around a piracy archetype. Yeah, absolutely.
And having like pirate insurance, people will look at that and be like, oh, there is a chance that something wrong is going to happen on this trip, be it from AI or players. So when stuff like that does happen, they're like, okay, I kind of expected this. I bought the pirate insurance, or at least I knew it happened, so I'll buy it next time. So when it happens on their end, they're like, yep, this is in the game. And when it happens on our end, they're like, oh, okay, yep, that's their job. They get paid for this. But right now, they're just like, this is a single player game, man. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. There's a good point you brought up there, though, that I'd like to flesh out a bit more, is that, oh my God, I just lost it. I'm sorry. Come back to me.
No, yeah, because no one gets mad in EVE Online when they get killed in null space, right? You're like, yep, that happens. And no one gets mad when they get killed in, well, at least... Yeah, risk reward, and that exists in Star Citizen.
What is the reward? But what is the reward for the risk of engaging with a pirate? Right, from a trader's point of view, the only reward is doing the same thing they were doing without the pirate interacting with them. So that is what we're kind of focusing on here, is that there is no reward for them engaging in the risk.
So I do have a point of with that then. So you're talking risk versus reward, and by no means do I disagree. So as far as risk versus reward, when you're talking about a hauler that's going to put, if 400,000 is a lot to you, great. If 2.1 million is a lot to you, point is, whatever is a lot of money to you that you're willing to put into, whether it be a cat, whether it be a freelancer, I don't care if it's a nomad. Actually, I don't know if it even has cargo, but beside my point.
Yeah, it does, totally.
So that
love my
person,
nomad. Love me nomad.
So that person is putting what they think is highly valuable to them because they are taking on risk. They look at that. And so then they go, and I'm touching on Manfred's point actually, when they go out into open space and they go from A to B or A to B to C, they go to these locations and they expect to land, and that's it really rings true.
The reward is the transaction of trading. Right, the reward is not combat in any way, shape, or form.
Correct. Yeah. And so everyone is willing to play RP. They're willing to play that role until things go sideways. And I think that's where a lot of the time that we come across the scenario where we do get people that are upset, as I believe Dirty had put it. Piracy is always a confrontational interaction, and it is. That's what it causes.
Confrontational transaction is what
the difference. I think the difference and the key point is they expected to make it to point B, and when they didn't, and they expected to make it there, that's when it causes a big issue, and that's when.
And even if they win, they don't get anything out of it. Like even if they get away from you, right? They're just doing the same thing they were doing anyway. Like there is no value in actually trying to fight off a pirate or bringing escorts or doing any of those things if you don't see it as valuable, right? So how do you reward them then to get them into it? Sorry,
that's what I was going to say. No, you're fine. I was just going to say that if you did successfully, let's say play out a very short scenario that I pick up on cargo and I'm in a C2 or a cat. I'm carrying a lot of Laranite, Agricium, whatever it is. I've got a lot of money. I've got a lot of value on board. And I decide, hey, buddy A, B, and C, come with me. Just make sure I'll cut you in for a small price. All you got to do is make sure that I make it from Area 18 all the way up to Hurston. And we get there, we get halfway there, whatever, and we get snared by a mantis and a bunch of light fighters and everything. And we successfully not only kill a few, but we get away. At that point, there should be some sort of system involved, and we already have it technically with call to arms. It's basically a citizen's arrest, where it goes, hey, you're a cargo hauler, you were in a cargo ship, or you picked up XYZ Laranite or whatever. You know what? You should get a bonus because it looks like you were stopped or you were late, or you know whatever dialogue they want to put in. But the point is that it registers that you killed or you got away from pirates. You know what? Here's a little something extra because this may have not shown up at all.
And guess how big the extra is based off of Chaos's squad's reputation. Go ahead, Pluto. Sorry.
Yeah, perfect. No problem. To add on to that slightly, I think that Itachi was addressing even another small problem that probably aggravates the situation, which is one of the reasons there's a lot of animosity between coming from those that don't want to RP, that don't want to engage with pirates, because they probably feel that they're just running a cargo run or doing their thing, and they have no power to stop the situation. Like, what can they do? Drop a beacon maybe that the pirate's going to answer? Like, there's no way for them to escape, really. They're in a cargo ship. There's no one going to come to their rescue. There's not like there's going to be police showing up in any reasonable amount of time or anyone coming to help.
Not at this stage. Hell no. Yeah.
Yeah, not at this stage. So that's something like what Itachi mentioned. Also, adding in resources, like you mentioned yourself, Johnny, adding in resources for them to see where crime might be happening in the system, but also having other ways for them to like call for help. Stress beacons, stuff like that might really help. If you make them feel like they have some agency in the situation instead of just being mugged.
Yeah, that's one thing though. I mean, people will sometimes say, "Oh, pirates over here at whatever Bezdek," and if we know that they do that, that's basically a death sentence, right? Because we know that there's no cooperation coming from them. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to a mechanic like that, but I don't know if it would necessarily help their experience, especially if we knew that that was happening. If there's any kind of like distress beacon or something that we could see. I don't know if that would go well for the target. But
going back to Itachi's point, like when you get pulled out of Quantum by Quantum Stare, the system knows that, right? Like it knows who did it too, so it can then know what org that person is from. So giving them a bonus, like an actual reward for the risk of engaging in with the pirates, is I think probably one of the best ideas I've heard kicked out tonight. So I really like that. Sorry, but keep going, Dirty. I cut you off. Terrible.
No, that's okay. That would be cool, and I think I don't know. One of the things that I think is most cool about Chaos Squad, and was kind of one of my goals early on, was kind of like become part of the lore of the game. And we haven't, been written into it, but as far as like the YouTube verse goes, we've been fairly well recognized. And if we start, saying Chaos Squad in the chat, people know us, right?
Yep.
And that's cool, notorious. Right? But that's not in the game. Right, and I think that's a bit of a shame that you can't find that inside the game right now. It's out there, and to circle way back to another point, like one thing that somebody does gain at this stage in the game by getting pirated is information. They learn that, oh shit, I got pirated at this spot, and maybe they think like, well, why did that happen to me? Is this a really good spot to go? Is this just a high traffic place? You might learn something from that experience, and maybe then you change your behavior as that player, or maybe not. I don't know.
It's not a focused player journey. So what you're kind of touching base on is the concept of a customer journey map. They're using marketing and product development and stuff like that of how the person's life cycle, like the lifetime value of a customer and where they start at. Like, how I said, I started as a miner and then moved through this journey, and now I'm here at this part of my journey, and continually map on until I churn out of the platform. Eventually, I'll stop playing Star Citizen, either, I die or I move on to another game type thing, right? So eventually there is an endpoint to my lifetime on it. And planning out all those journeys for those customers and the different types of them is on CIG as a platform. It is a difficult one to manage. I think we've hit the nail on the head of the concept of risk reward, and that there is really nothing on the other side of the transaction for engaging in it, right? And even right now on the pirate side, there's not a lot of reward for your risk, right? Like your time, the risking your time of for 6 hours of playing a game, trying to actually hunt down something and engage with someone in the good gameplay that adds to your notoriety within the verse, because I want the same thing. The Skunks kind of want the same thing. The FFA kind of wants the same thing, is to be part of the fabric and lore, unofficial or official at some point. Official would be super cool, right? And that should be based on hashtag put the time in, hashtag do the work, and that the system can recognize your social proofs. That is a very powerful concept. Social proof is a huge one with platform development and social rewards based on it. But it is something I think that's critical for both sides to know who they're engaging with and how they can benefit from it. But to encourage it, I think we have a good idea here about rewarding people for engaging in the risk. Same thing with the pirates, though, too. Go ahead.
I have a question. I completely agree with Johnny right there about the reputation and everything, but I actually have a question that touches on what Johnny's already spoke about before at one point. But I have a question for the pirate guys. I've done a little bit of pirating myself. I wouldn't consider myself a pirate. I'm more of a PvP. We'll say mercenary if we're going to actually categorize
we're more mercs.
my role. But I actually have a question.
Soldier of Fortune.
Pirate guys. So obviously we don't, hang on, let me preface it with a little bit with, we don't want, all our cargo haulers, all our miners, everyone to just, if they get really bad experiences repeatedly over and over, even if they do have systems in place, such as, like I said, insurance or anything that kind of mitigates it, we don't want them to have bad experiences, because at the end of the day, PvE players need the PvP players for the experience, the livelihood, the content, and the PvP players literally need the PvE players to keep things rolling. Without both of them, at least in this kind of sandbox, with this construction site that we're playing in, it all falls apart. So my question is, touching on something Johnny said before, if you were going to pirate the same way every time is successful, it could be a different ship every time, it could be a different location every time, but if it was pretty much the same old A, B, C, D, boom, we got the cargo and we sold it, A, B, C, D, boom, we got the cargo and we sold it, and it was just the same thing over and over, my personal assumption is it would be kind of mundane. It would be a little, I don't want to say boring, because that's not necessarily it either. My question is, are you guys simply okay with just building up the rep and getting the cargo, getting in, getting out, making the reputation and getting the name out there? Or are you also looking for the challenge, maybe the wrench in your plans every once in a while, where the surprise? And the reason I say this touches on what Johnny said before is he was talking about maybe if you're maybe a newer player, maybe you're a lower cargo hauler rep or whatever they want to call that 10 seconds out of coming out of Quantum and getting snared, that a bunch of Hurston security shows up, 5-6 ships that are somewhat of a threat, nothing compared to PvP, but somewhat of a threat or somewhat of a problem to deal with. Is it acceptable? Is that what a pirate org is looking for when it comes to snaring a ship and getting the cargo? Are they looking for the challenge, or are they just looking for making the name and making the reputation and having some fun?
I think this is a good point, just to jump in quickly to segue the conversation into the second part, which is mechanics, and starting talking a bit about the Imagine side of it as well, of what we would like to see, because that's a good question, Itachi, is as a pirate org, Dirty, you've alluded that you want to be part of the lore, so what is the end goal? Is it to build yourself up to be a pirate king, right? And then this is where I would love to see them start interacting with the reputation, how you work in game and how they collect that data about you, and the dynamic mission. And I'd love to see some more depth to that, so that, Chaos, as they continue to move up, you're getting rewarded with better and better content being thrown at you. More organized, more people coming in, other pirate groups being linked up with you through this dynamic mission system, and hopefully a little bit of scheduling with it too, because we all have lives and we can't do this 24/7 unless they want to pay us.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of, taking the last few minutes of conversation, one of the big things that I think links the PvP to the PvE side of the spectrum here will need to be logistics, right? Like, where are we going to get the materials to repair our ships and refuel our ships and the ammo and all of that stuff, right? If we go to a system more like EVE, then all that stuff is being generated by the players, or maybe the players and the NPCs. So part of it will just be survival for us if we're going to be outlawed and won't have access to a lot of the stations. So, yeah.
Sure,
That's
you'll have to bring a
one
logistical
point.
arm to the piracy gameplay side of your org being able to run it. That's a very good point. You can't actually ignore being a miner and trader yourself, because you'll have to engage in that within the black market and illegal side of the verse to be able to get your supplies and gears built up and stuff, and probably run mission ops to collect that stuff. Right? You should be stealing it. It'd be really cool.
Right.
Hey, we're low on Pioneer missiles. Let's go raid the depot, boys. All right, we got the mission for it. Yeah, we do. Boom, boom, boom.
We need to be able to access that. I think it will be a really interesting aspect of the outlaw pirate gameplay is how do you just keep it moving and keep everybody supplied and all of that. As far as the reputation goes and having other groups coming to join us to either fight with us or fight against us, I think that would be awesome if they were able to do that. Currently, right now, we take a spot and people come, whoever's running down that space lane is the person that we're going to pull out. So to kind of circle back to one of the other questions, right? We kind of try to manipulate the odds in our favor of getting the targets we want. But we have no way of knowing what's going to pop out. And sometimes, it's an angry Super Hornet, and we're just sitting there in our Mantis, and it's like, it's time for us to go if we're sitting there solo. So that's
again,
always
risk
interesting.
versus reward.
Right, and if you're running, a crime stat that's high enough, and bounty hunters put a few things together, they can figure out what lane you're camping. And they'll catch up to you eventually. So in case anyone's wondering, a lot of times we'll start off with clean crime stats, just so it's easier for us to operate. To go back to the old piracy ways, you wouldn't run a flag up until it was to your advantage, right? You wouldn't say from way out of cannon range, "Oh, I'm a pirate. Now's your chance to run." You wait until they're at range and you can respond, right? And so we basically do the same thing, to keep that. Honestly, somebody mentioned earlier the odds of running into a competent bounty hunter is really, really low. But you never know. Sometimes they're out there, and we've made a name for ourselves. And sometimes groups, orgs, or whatever will say, "Oh, we're going to make a name for ourselves by going and fighting Chaos Squad." And every once in a while, it gets spicy. And maybe we have a little dogfight out in the middle of Dead Space, and that's what we do that night. And so that's fun, too. We'll do that as long as, it's not super disruptive to what we're doing. Maybe a protracted dogfight isn't really that valuable of a way to spend our time. So, after we have our fun for a little while, we might go somewhere else, But
we like that at FFA, right? We're the more soldier of fortune, mercs type of fighter jocks type stuff. We enjoy the combat itself and the bigger, so we'll stay engaged in it for a very long time. But why would a pirate, right? Combat's not necessarily the thing you're doing. It's just a means to an end of your gameplay loop, which is robbing, stealing, looting, and having a good time at doing it as well. So, talking about mechanics, you did touch base on better comms, right, as one of the mechanics. But is there any other mechanics you or your team would like to talk about? So this is more of the Imagine wish list of things. You can totally cut CIG's grass here and say, hey, I would like to see them do this, X, Y, and Z. Forget about saying it's easy or hard or not. Everything in software development is hard, and just assume that it takes a really long time. But in this sense, just lay out anything that you would like to see to improve your side of the gameplay. Not necessarily the space stats, right? We've talked a lot about them, giving them some risk or sort of reward for the risk of the interaction, so it makes it more worthwhile to them to interact and get a beneficial transaction out of it if they win. And if they don't, then they get access to some sort of compensation for their time that helps them either along the journey of Star Citizen or feeds them into some exclusive type of content, even potentially with the dynamic mission system and the reputation system, linking them back up and giving them an opportunity to further engage with you, with other people maybe that's been pirated, because you're all on at the same time, the system recognizes it, and it serves as a mission to those people to go and engage and try to stop Chaos Squad from what they're doing, but Chaos Squad gets a set of missions too, right, to compensate you and reward you for all the downtime. And it's this, the sweaty competitive side around this more complicated WoW type like delivery of this a scripted event, but not scripted per se because it's just open. But you have an objective in each side, and it will push you together to interact. I would love to see that. But let's get on to mechanic. That's my imagined mechanic, right? Tie it all into the dynamic mission system and the reputation system. Reward the good players on both sides by giving them exclusive content, and shit on the ones that are terrible. You don't get anything, and you just get a T-shirt that says I Alt F4, right?
It would be really cool, just briefly before we move on, to see like. There's a competent, org of bounty hunters, say, right? And they're on the same shard or area or whatever as, Chaos Squad or any other pirate group. It would be really cool if they, had gained the amount of rep necessary to like, okay, yeah, go hunt this gang down. And if you can kill them all, you get an actually worthwhile reward, like, probably, I would say at this point in the economy, like $1 million or $2 million, for a big enough gang. But anyhow, I'll pass the mic to some of the others. But one thing that I can think of mechanically right now is if somebody actually wants to pay us, it takes them like 10 minutes usually to figure out, okay, I gotta go in here and I gotta find the name and type the name.
Oh yeah.
That just takes.
I want physical as cred sticks, like Shadowrun style, where people can drop it onto the value, pop out a chip, throw it over to you, boom, done.
Right.
So you can do that for data running on vaults and steel stuff, so you can pop it onto a chip and move it around physical.
Just make it easy.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
Make it a voice command. I don't know.
Well, that too, yeah, at this stage.
As a Mantis pilot, I just need better communication overall. Like, I'm sick and tired of this hassle of trying to open a line of communication while 90% of the time they're F12'd or something, and just gonna automatically right bracket any bullshit that comes up on their screen anyways, so...
I personally think that when you're in range of someone, like, you should be able to broadcast to them, and they should be able to hear it. The same way that we're sitting here. If I get within, like, let's say 1,000 meters of your ship, I should be able to just send my VoIP into your cockpit. Yes, it opens up for people griefing, blah, 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 but that's not really a reason not to do it. You can churn those people out over time. It's a pain. But ultimately, yeah, the communication, not just, like, for the piracy side, but just for the general interaction. I bumped into a guy, Phase 1 Gaming. He's a YouTuber. I was out mining in her L3. He was there, too. And he thought I recognized him, right? But we ended up typing in chat a little bit. But I was trying to call him, but he wasn't seeing the pop-up. Plus, that bug makes no one want to answer it. That then reveals your position on the map forever, right? Like so they can track you through that bug. Right. Killed anyone answering a call when they're in a cockpit. No one will do it, right? And so you have zero opportunity to talk to someone. What's annoying too is that if you get out of your ship and you fly beside their cockpit, you can yell at them, right? And they will actually hear you through the void. But that's such a hard position to get into. Even then, they won't hear you if they've turned it off, right? So they can actually turn that off completely. And that is something I don't think should be an option. Muting an individual player, yes.
Yeah. When you distortion them and they're sitting on the ground, you can move up to them and fight you. Mechanics-wise, for me, just better implementation of what we already have, which includes comms. But I think CIG has looked at the future and tried to implement all aspects pretty effectively. It's just getting there. Getting there is the biggest issue in this game, and it's understandable. Because so what CIG said so far, with a grain of salt, obviously, because things change. Like there's implementations they have in the future that we just have to wait on. Just like the cargo route factor, salvage. It's when it gets here, and soon TM is the answer for us. Reputation is going to be spotty. I really don't. Just like Sturdy said, I can write whatever I want on a reputation for this person.
I don't think reputation should be player driven. Not at all.
Yeah.
Like they can give a simple thumbs up, down, or favoriting, because if they're going to throw dynamic missions where they actually funnel us together, and I meet Dirty, or he meets me, like, oh, Old Man Johnny, I loved him. I'm going to put a little star beside him so that the game knows to actually try to surface more interaction points between us if we're on at the same time and within the same scope. So in that Uber type of matching system, that's kind of good to get a thumbs up or thumbs down. If I don't like you, then maybe I shouldn't put you together if I want you to continue to spend money on my game, right? Like, it's in their best interest to not drive people into negative interactions because they won't spend money on the game. So sure, give them a little bit, but the reputation would have to be based on the actual actions you take in the game and the metrics that they can pull from it, which is pretty much everything, right? Like everything you interact with and do in this game, including using the VoIP and chat, is all metrics that they can monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the mechanic things, at this point would be just giving players space to exist, right? I mean, I don't think many newer industrialists even realize, like, oh, if I go trade on this moon, I might actually see pirates out there because they're known to go there, right? There's no way for them to know that in the current state of the game. But in the future, that might be a little bit different. I think that it wouldn't be that difficult to, on the TV screens of the space station, say, reported, pirate attacks in this sector. Why wouldn't they have that information there? And if it's being tracked, that would be actually kind of cool, to have real-time updates like that, or near real-time updates.
Well, they are tracking it in the sense that Quanta tracks it for sure. Tony's presentation showed exactly that and how it dynamically affects the population numbers of AI going down those routes. It becomes more profitable, right? More pirates, pulls more security, etc. And that balance keeps on going back and forth. And our interactions as players will influence those lanes, right? If you're going and doing that, that is definitely coming down the pipe, and they'll have the data to surface to us. How they surface it to us, because they don't have it now, right? It's kind of just sort of coming online. But it's really not there. They still have the probability ones, right? So you get pulled out of quantum all the time, and there's nothing there.
Right.
You've hit those. Everyone's hit that. That's that old probability-based tech, and it was just not very good. It was a placeholder to get us here. But yeah, I'm really with you on that one. I'd like to see more stickiness with the dynamic mission system in quantum on the back end for players in general, and like funnel people together that are going to be hopefully or potentially good, right? It's kind of like a Tinder date type thing, right? Swipe left or right. If I swipe the way that I don't remember which way is what, but if I go the way that I like Dirty, then yeah, I definitely want to interact with him or try to find some ways to do that. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, I like that. All right, we're well into it here. I think we're going to move it along to the last bit of the conversation, which is 317, 318. Dirty, we're going to leave this pretty much to you and your team to talk about. But what are your expectations, or how do you think the gameplay is going to change with physicalized cargo coming in and having to take more time on site, or later move it and do the transfer somewhere else, moving that cargo potentially off a ship and onto another location?
Oh, that's going to be huge. That cargo refactor has been the big one that all of the piracy groups have been waiting for the last year. At least, like, oh, it's coming soon, it'll be here soon. And yeah, it'll change pretty much everything. I hope that at that point, if somebody decides that they're going to Alt F4 to just avoid that situation, that ship and cargo will just be static. Things will be stable enough where that won't be a problem. We can just go ahead and take what we were going to take anyways, unless they were going to pay us. And honestly, if they choose to do that, then they've just done our work for us.
Yeah, I touched on that earlier also. But a lot of people just don't understand what CIG has put out. Like Pappy and Lando How to Talk. I can't remember. I think it was 2018, and described a verse of PvPers and PvEers together.
Yeah.
Now, with the shards and everything, yeah, it's going to try to match players to a certain extent. But Chris Roberts said 90% of your interactions is going to be NPC, which is going to be true. But that doesn't mean you're always going to be safe. If pirate groups want to come into a system to do their work, you're going to have to deal with it. Cargo factor, like I stated, we're going to be able to take their ship, transfer the goods to ours, sell them, strip their ship, salvage ship.
And that's all time that
profit.
people can then potentially interact with you again, right? Like they don't have to leave the server and give up. They could start surfacing a bit of data to the player saying, "Spotted Chaos Squad here with your ship," right? Like, and trying to recover it and continue the interaction.
Yes.
Maybe not like as long as you're in the process of gaining value out of it. Once you've leaved it, that's gone, right? Just throw it in the trash, it's done. I like that, right? I think we've have an interesting scenario coming up with the cargo refactoring. Anyone else have any good thoughts on that? Go ahead, sorry.
With your track function, you said right there, that's already an option on the vehicle monitors. I can't think of the name. If you notice, there's a track button. I don't know if it works necessarily, and maybe it has to be.
Yeah, the ASOP terminal.
Yeah, ASOP terminal. Maybe.
I've never used it actually. Right.
Yeah, I mean either. So I don't know the exact function on it. It might be good to learn about it, but like, there's going to be implementation if you do backspace within, let's say, a combat timer. And this is just me shooting the shit. I'm not sure if it's an idea. That's from my idea. Within a certain time of you getting engaged or around other players, leaving your ship, leaving the game, will cause you to have a time frame where, hey, your ship's not safe. This happens in multiple MMOs. The one I know.
Oh yeah, DayZ does that too.
Yeah.
Mostly just top combat logging.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
and that's what we need sooner rather than later.
I agree with that.
I think that should be I don't know if it's an easy implementation. I do IT stuff, but I hate coding. I just despise coding and will do everything.
Then
I
you know
can.
it's not. Then you know
I
it's
don't
not.
want to code, so.
Yeah,
but
no, me
that's
either. I
something
hate
we
coding.
need now.
Salvage too. Right, salvage,
salvage
and
should
cargo
change
are
that,
the big
right?
ones for us. You know,
Yes.
they're just ways for us to make money, and they're gonna, I think, be good for the piracy gameplay loop. I don't know about everybody else, but it's gonna be good for us because it doesn't really matter at that point what you decide to do. You want to blow yourself up? Great, we'll take the scrap. You know, find however many boxes are left over for us, and we'll go sell those. And once we can actually do that, then I think, you know, that will really flesh out the piracy gameplay loop in a really big way.
Interesting point.
Yeah, one thing that people talk about sometimes who are very anti-pirate is that there aren't piracy like mechanics in the game. I don't quite know what they mean, but you know, for me, being able to sell stolen loot and stolen ships are pretty high up on that list. You know, I don't think that's happening with the ship thing anytime soon, but that cargo, that's going to be a big one that we've all really been waiting for. Salvage is going to be great too.
Access to a black market economy, right? They're going to get the public economy. You guys should have access to a black market economy that works the same way, right? Like that should be there for you guys to engage in and help make successful that economic side, which is engaging in piracy. Yeah, well, I think we have some really good topics here. One thing though, I think you brought up there that I liked is the idea that it's that time reward again too. So if you can make a way for them to like be compensated for their loss of time and still enjoy it, I think there's a lot of meat on that to improve it in different ways, right? Like there's a lot of different ways that we kicked out. I see the cargo refactoring coming down as a means of adding more gameplay and content so that you don't lose your time. So that was the point that you kind of made. Like I picked up on that with the advent of physicalized cargo and salvage, that your time investment risk is mitigated significantly because even if they blow themselves up, you still have content that you can engage in and that you feel is worthwhile and enjoyable.
Right.
And then while you're doing that salvage and robbing of it, other players that are like bounty hunters may get a notification that, you know, hey, here's Chaos Squad, take advantage of that opportunity. You have about 5 minutes because it's this type of ship.
Oh, yeah.
Hustle, right? Or we know we have about this much time because it's this type of ship.
I've got a video.
I think that's neat.
Sorry, I just want to say I've got a video too where we spend maybe 30 minutes collecting boxes on the surface of a moon, and maybe sometimes those players do come back to that location and retaliate. So the last half of that is us under fire now, like loading up and just getting out of there. And if we had more of those kinds of events, that would be great, because that's the kind of experience that I think most of us are here looking for, at least in my group.
Agreed.
I'd agree with that too. I think we all are, because we all love Jumptown, right? Jumptown was this great dynamic event that brought us together to do all this PvP. Like my only complaint of it, and I'd like to see in the next iteration an input side and maybe a resource gathering side for it, so that it's not just go there and stand against the box and it spits stuff out. You actually have to put a risk in upfront risk to get the value out. I put 1 million UAC of product in, I get 5 million UAC of product out, but it takes a while for it to spit out. The bigger the load, the longer it takes, the more risk of staying there and then having to physically load that into cargo ships like we do, but with the new refactoring. I would love that, right? Gives us another place, especially for our non-combat guys, can go to some resource gathering missions and engage in that fun, bring it into a hot zone potentially that's being held by their team, and then they get a little taste of the combat. Maybe they move over to someone's gunner, or they get on the ground and do some fighting there. It all encourages that customer journey and engaging in it, and then rewarding the good actors. I think that's a big part of this too. And identifying those bad actors on the opposite side of the transaction, because honestly, that's something I think that's going missed real hard, right? And I'm tired of hearing people say pirates are toxic, when yeah, sure, there are some that are, but they are a tiny portion of this demographic. The single player space dad is a huge portion of our demographic. So by a pure numbers capability, there is going to be way more toxic players in that 76% demographic. And they are flying under the radar. And then they're putting out what I would say are a lot of straw man arguments towards it that gets people riled up because they sound good and they're populist. And then now we're in a situation where, you know, I do agree that if they don't get a handle on fixing that risk reward, it could potentially, it would be a loss, I would say, to the verse, right? And that vision that Jared and them agree with, and I agree with, that Chris Roberts has laid out, where we can exist together, and that the platform will eventually, hopefully, really funnel us in ways that is beneficial to both sides of the transaction. If anyone doesn't have anything else to add here, I think we will wrap it up here. We're about an hour and a bit in. But any final thoughts from Dirty and the crew, or any of the FFA guys?
Yeah,
Goose, you never got a chance to talk. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, going back to the risk reward. No, it's fine. Going back to the risk reward for transport pilots. Right now, I think there's two major problems facing transport pilots that, when they come online, might alleviate the risk reward for them. And the first is obviously trade routes are static right now, right? There's an optimal route. Everyone flies more or less the same optimal routes on server to server, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like when Quantum comes online more and more and starts dictating prices, it'll sort of self-alleviate and self-regulate the risk reward for transport pilots. Because if you have, these guys running a blockade around a certain port or a certain planet, obviously the price of the goods there are going to rise, and it's going to indicate to a skilled transport pilot, like, hey, this titanium's really valuable on microtech. It's probably a reason for that, and I should probably be a little cautious if I'm going to, make a run that way.
To counteract that, and just simply put, that's also based on the idea that ports and everything stay at the same defensive capabilities that they're at as they always have been. If the ports are actually able to defend themselves against, let's just face it, a single light fighter for once in their lives, that won't be the case anymore. Let me rephrase that.
It's true. It's very true.
An org could lock it down, and I feel like that would make that circumstance more rare, and it's still very, very well within the realm of possibility. But speaking on what you were saying, Goose, I completely agree that is a problem. I think if they finally, which, let's face it, we all know, at least as a combat pilot, we all know that the reason the ports can't hit you is because it's the same thing with the AI on the ground. When you go to shoot at them, they're just lagging behind. And once that gets fixed, whatever it takes, whether it be server meshing or whatever other magic they want to pull in the background, when that gets fixed, I don't think that will be as big of an issue. But when it does become an issue that, an org of 6, 8, 10, 12 guys are doing that, then that's going to be very apparent that it's like, okay, very high risk, high reward.
Yeah, I feel a little self-regulate to an extent once those systems come online. In the immediate short term, I I don't know of a quick solution they can implement other than maybe
Agreed.
some sort of like add a console at the admin kiosk to report pirates or something. But I can't think of it.
I think the insurance one is probably the lowest hanging fruit that came out of this discussion, right? That a Tarkov style, hey, I'm insuring this cargo load. It's an additional overhead on my run, and then maybe a little bit of data being surfaced to them about the quality of the runs, right? But I think that can't happen until Quantum comes in, because they are. He showed that in an example, right? That data is all there to be surfaced. How they surface it, it seems like Chris really wants to do that bartender network thing and some other tools to interact with it. So I think we'll have a way to get that data, and hopefully it's linked to the data running side of it too, so you can get higher quality data by engaging some content around that. I love it though. I think we had a very productive discussion here. I hope people take a good way, have a good takeaway from it. Sorry. On the Space Dad side, we love you guys too. We want to see you have a good time.
Absolutely.
I'm OldManJohnnyMorgan. I got an autistic kid, right? I talk about him all the time. I don't have a lot of time to engage, so I really empathize with you guys when this happens, and I really understand it. But I really, really strongly recommend you lean into it. Stop saying F you to them. Stop telling them to die and stuff. Turn your VoIP on. Talk to them.
We'll be nice if you're nice to us.
Great situation. They'll 100%. They have social proof to prove that, right? Like, it's the other side doesn't. Chaos Squad actually has social proof. Cutlet has social proof that says I actually do these things, right? Like, you can't say I don't. I do, and you can prove it. The other side is an anonymous coward most of the time, right? And so don't be that anonymous coward. Be your character in the verse. Lean into it. Get your own reputation going. Come hang out with the Freelance Fighter Academy, right? We'll train you. We'll engage with you. We
Absolutely.
love it. That's how we get most of our recruits, is doing combat.
You'd be surprised how many guys I've gotten in here from just killing them while I'm doing piracy. They're like, I'm like, boy, do I have a pitch for you.
keep what you kill. The guy popped into the YouTube. He found it, right? And he commented on it. He said, I'm really sorry for being so salty. I'm, interested. And he may have joined, actually. I have to look.
I think if there was anything I'd pray for in an entire podcast, I don't care if it was one episode or 3,000 episodes, pirate does not equal griefer. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
that language has to go.
There's footage on Twitch of me because some dude recorded me and said I'm uploading this to CIG for griefing. All I did was kill him.
You're fantastic. Well, you are a griefer, so come on.
Oh yeah, totally.
Sometimes wonder how many.
It actually is true. It's true.
I wonder how many reports we've gotten. Sometimes, like, it's got to be a lot.
I still think my favorite is the same guy that threatened Manfred called me in game and said, "Remember my face when you can't log in."
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah. I love the ego on that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's okay. I wish it was remember my face, so when I see you in the verse again, not so you can't log in. Like, that's the part where he loses me. 100% loses me. But if he called you, he made all that effort just to tell you that you're going to get banned when we all know you're not. Right? Like, you're not. They barely ban anyone in this game. They ban you if you're cheating by using hacks, and people do it in this game. They added an anti-cheat for a reason up front in early development. Right, they want to get ahead of that because they want a skill-based game, and what kills a skill-based game faster than anything else? Fucking hackers, right? Running cheats. So they'll ban your ass on that, but they will not ban you unless you are toxically harassing someone that is pretty much criminal in nature at that point. And CIG's been really good about that stuff, right? And I love that about them. So let's get off this. Let's get on to the last little bit. I'm just going to wrap it up here. We had a fantastic discussion. Dirty, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to years of content generation with you guys. I do have a Pirates versus Ninja event that I want to run. It is to train in piracy and try to demonstrate to people that it can be very enjoyable. It's a competition for sure. It's about stealing cargo and the value of it, right? Disabling ships versus destroying them, boarding ships, and doing all that type of gameplay loop. Potentially demonstrating, but turning it into a little bit of tournament style. It's going to be a while before I get that out the door, but I'd love to have you guys involved, and we will chat more about it later. FA guys, you guys are all freaking awesome. I love you all. Thanks, bros.
Thank you. That sounds great.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. Yeah, there we go. The double fingers, loved it. Nice. All right, we are shutting down. That was good, boys.
Awesome.
Yeah, good chat.
Hopefully Waffle and I don't get too distracting in the replay.
No, the emotes you guys were doing were actually great. I wanted to take a sidebar and tell everyone that the emotes that they're doing, because it adds flavor. It looks a little more fluid, right? And you guys were nailing it on points too. Like it looked like you were agreeing with points when you were doing it. So it was really good.
Mongoose and I were having a riot doing that. We were laughing in the back.
Yeah, don't even bother looking at global chat.
We're also playing the staring game a couple times.
Oh yeah, we kept looking at each other and looking away and like pretending we're not looking at each other.
All right, now here's the real question: who wants to kill each other?
Yes, please.
Absolutely.
Let me take off my fancy clothes.
Yep.
Yeah, let me get naked so we can play.
Yep,
All right.
I'm getting him a birthday suit.
Y'all have fun. Thank you. It was a good chat. Really appreciated coming on and talking with y'all.
Yeah,
great, man.
absolutely.
I'll send you the. I'll send you a link for the drive for anyone to upload footage to.
Perfect.
Sounds
I'll
good.
need that too for that long shot from the side. Hey, Dirty, anytime I'd be more than happy to swing by and hang out with you guys, because I'm a bit well, actually Goose up there is too, but I'm a big distortion fanatic, so
they're a lot of fun these days. Hit me up in my DMs,
the work.
Or Chef. Hit any of us up, and we can get you an invite into the server. I have an early morning tomorrow, so I have to go here. It was a great chatting once again. You all have a good night.
Yeah, you too, man.
See you around.